Many of you guys have literally no idea who this guy is. And for those of you who know who this guy is, you guys are gonna be like, bro, this guy is talking about like shirk and stuff. This guy's talking about bad things. Don't be listening to this guy. Which, to be honest, I'm like, okay, I'm on your side. I'm on your side, bro. But in this video, I want to tell you about something that this guy actually talks about. I put it into use. And as soon as I put it into use, I'm just like, I regret not listening to whatever he was saying. And I truly, bro, I truly believe if you watch this whole video, it's gonna change your life as well. So this guy, his name is Neville Goddard. Now, what I noticed is that even back in the day when this guy was alive, even the Christians didn't actually like him because they thought he was basically talking about like some blasphemous things. Because what he used to say is that technically, like, God is actually within you. And I was thinking more about that. And I came to the realization that even like the Sufi Muslims, they actually say the same thing. Now, we're not saying that you are like actually God. We're not saying something like that because that is actually blasphemous. But what we're saying is the same power that God uses to actually bring things from the unseen to the seen, that power is actually within you as well. So as soon as I actually started like internalize that, as soon as I actually started putting that into use, Habibi, like I'm so serious. Like everything actually changed. Like I actually started realizing that I'm the one who's creating everything in my own life. And then if I'm actually the one that's creating everything in my own life, I'm creating the bad and I'm creating the good. And all I have to do is basically choose to create the good that I want. So here's the thing, what this guy actually teaches is that right before you go to sleep, like right before you sleep, try to imagine and then try to think and feel the actual life that you want when you wake up. Because here's what he basically believes. He believes that the world of the unseen is more real than the world of the seen. So the world that you have within you is actually more real than the outside. Because the outside is literally just a mirror that shows to you what's actually on the inside. So whenever you see people who are like their life is basically always like in depression, always angry and all that stuff, that's just a reflection of who they actually are. And that is why when we go to sleep, like we don't allow people to go to sleep in an angry state. Like if you're talking to like a loved one and it's like, you know that they're going to go to sleep angry at you, you don't want them to go to sleep in that state. Like for me, I would never let my parents go to sleep angry at me because whenever you go to sleep, it's almost like sleep is the doorway to the unseen. So the feeling that you sleep on, the last feeling that you feel and then you sleep on that feeling is what you actually take with you when you go through this doorway to the unseen world. And by the way, like even in Islam, this is true. Like sleep is like the cousin of death. Sleep is like a mini death. And death is how you actually permanently go to the unseen world. But sleep is like the mini death. So it's like the doorway to temporarily go to the unseen world. And you guys know this. If you guys are Muslim, you know this. Like you know that in the Quran it even says like when you go to sleep, like God takes the souls and then he brings it back. It's like if he's taking the souls, where's he taking them to? And that's what you guys need to realize. Like the soul, Habibi, the soul, like the soul is the real thing. The body is not the real thing. The soul is the real thing. And the soul has the power to create all these things. So here's what I do. Whenever I'm basically about to go to sleep, as soon as like I'm laying down, I try to actually imagine the world that I want. I think of the world that I want, and by thinking of the world that I want, I'm not thinking about like how I'm gonna get it. I'm thinking of like the end result. So if I want like for example like a 300k in the bank, what I would do is that if I'm like laying down, I would close my eyes first of all, and I would imagine myself in like a whole different world. And it's like I'm grabbing my phone, I'm opening my phone, and then I go to the bank app, like I put my username, put my password, and then I log in. And the first thing I see is like my bank balance. So I actually imagine that. And I just basically imagine it's like my bank balance. It literally says 300k. And then it's like, okay, I'm thinking of that. I'm like, oh, that's like the first month. And then it's like, I think of like 1 month after that, like a whole another thing, but like the same night. I go back, I get my phone, and I look at my bank, and I'm just like, dang, boy, 600k. And then I would do the same thing. I'm like month after I come back and I'm like, dang boy, 900k. And it's like I keep doing that, right? And what happens is like I fall asleep in that state. So when I actually do wake up, like bro, I can't explain it to you, but the way that God actually creates like situations in your life to the point that this end result actually starts happening. So what you'll notice is that you will start taking action without even thinking about it, or things will come to you and you'll act upon them without even like actually thinking about it. And all that it's going to do is lead you to that end state, which is you opening your phone and then checking the bank balance and all that stuff, which is the exact same thing that you imagined. And this is insane, by the way. Like I do this for everything. Like even for my personal life. I'm not going to be talking about my personal life, but I do it even for my personal life. Like if I want something, all I do is just as soon as I'm falling asleep, I just imagine the end state and basically sleep in that state. And now what you'll notice as well is that it's gonna work in such a way that if someone else were to see it on the outside, they would come up to you and they would be like, Habibi, that thing that you wanted would have happened anyway. It's so obvious how it happened. But that's how God works. And also, by the way, in the Quran, it actually says, like, like the mother of Moses, the mother of Musa, it literally says in the Quran how basically this woman, when she had Musa like as a baby holding him, it actually says the word that like God or Allah basically gave her like inspiration in the heart to take this baby and put him in the river. No mother, Habibi, would ever take a baby, her own baby, and put it in a river. Why would this woman do it? And it's because she got inspired by God. So that's what I'm trying to say. If you sleep in the end state and you'll fall asleep in that feeling, what's going to happen is you'll start getting inspiration from Allah, and then everything you do, you'll do it like without even thinking about it. But everything is going to work out like it's so obvious. And that's the beauty of it, bro. That's actually the beauty of it. Now, the crazy part about it is that you can actually do this whole thing, not just for yourself, but even for other people. And look, at the time of me recording this exact video, I'm recording this on October 13th, on Friday. And if you're watching this in like another date, you know exactly what's happening on October 13th on Friday. Like this exact date, you know exactly what's happening. I don't want to mention any stuff. I don't want to mention like any words or countries and stuff like that because I might get demonetized. But you know exactly what's happening. So now that I basically told you, like this power that you guys have, I'm trying to say that you guys can actually use this power, not just for yourself, but for other people as well. So when you're falling asleep, you can actually imagine peace for other people. And if you truly fall asleep in that state, like you're actually living that thing, what's going to happen is like that thing will actually start happening. Now, most of you are going to come up to me and you're going to be like, bro, it's so hard to control my mind when I'm falling asleep because my mind is going everywhere and it's hard to control it. First of all, why is it hard to control the mind? I believe, this isn't like something that I got from anywhere, but I strongly believe the reason why you can't control your mind properly is because of all the sins. Now, by sins, I don't mean like you killed 5 people so you can't control your mind. Yes, it's true. If you killed 5 people, you probably wouldn't be able to control your mind. But I'm saying it's like all these movies that you watch, all these songs that you listen to, all these things that you eat, the things that you drink, all that stuff, it's harming you. And as a result, these are sins. You might not say it's like big sins, but sure, it's still sins. And plus, if you're talking like bad behind people's back, if you're like hurting other people's feelings and all that stuff, those are all sins. So how do you fix that? So this right here, Habibi, is your solution, which basically says, ask forgiveness of your Lord. Indeed, he's a forgiver. And then as a result, what happens if you ask forgiveness from Allah? He will send rain from the sky upon you and increase you in wealth and children. Do you see what I'm trying to say? The solution as to why you can't control your brain is istighfar. The more you do istighfar, the more you'll see that it's actually easy to control your brain. Now, when you're falling asleep and your brain, you're able to control it and you're actually imagining the things that you want, again, what's going to happen? If you're imagining good things, those things are going to happen. So if you're imagining wealth, if you're imagining peace on people, that's the exact same thing that's going to happen. And it's going to happen in such a way that it's like you don't even have to do anything. Like you actually don't even have to do anything. Allah is going to actually create all the scenarios in your life or in everybody else's life to create the scenario that you're thinking of. So that's all you have to do. Just literally sit down and just basically do istighfar. And this is, Habibi, this is in the Quran. Like I'm not saying this out of my own brain. This is in the Quran. And by the way, like anytime I actually talk about things like these, I always get people who basically write comments. They're just like, Habibi, it's not that easy. And it's like, Habibi, like, all this stuff is like, it's shirk and all that stuff. But listen, this is not shirk. I actually get so annoyed when people like start telling me these things. I'm not learning these things from a dumb source. If you look at like so many sayings of the Prophet himself, he actually says the heart of the believer is basically like the house of God. And then in the Quran, it actually says that God is closer to you than your jugular vein. So what I'm trying to say is that you and Allah, the Creator, are not that far off, Habibi. It even says like Allah like roams around the heart. So the heart is so powerful. And when you clean the heart, everything else starts getting cleansed. So if you're seeing like the Muslim nation and all that stuff is getting destroyed, whose fault is that? We've gotten so far into like making our heart dirty and destroying our heart, and we forgot how to clean the heart. So when the heart is dirty, what happens? The whole body is dirty. And the nation of Islam is basically one body. So if the heart is ruined, the whole nation is going to ruin. And that's why you're seeing all these bad things that are happening. So Habibi, whose fault is that? It's literally our fault. So all you need to do is clean the heart. Do istighfar. Like, go back to the source. Realize your true nature. And it's funny because in order for me to actually get your attention, I actually have to mention like all these things about how like you'll definitely be increased in wealth and all that stuff just because that's what you guys care about. But listen, this is basically a byproduct of what happens when you clean the heart. And don't tell me it's like, oh, like those people that have so much wealth and stuff, their hearts are not clean. Habibi, just imagine what happens when they actually do clean the heart. they'll get even more wealth. And by the way, stop thinking that like, oh, like rich people and stuff, they all have dirty hearts. That's just basically a thought you guys have upon you as like an excuse. Most rich people don't have dirty hearts. Habibi, rich people are like the nicest people I've seen in my life. Not like the ones that are like celebrities, but the hidden ones you could say. But this is the thing, bro. Like, I actually regret not learning this long time ago because this just gives you so much power. It makes you realize it's like the heart is basically everything. Because the heart is what actually brings feelings. And if you're sleeping upon these feelings, that creates your life. So clean the heart, Habibi. Clean the heart with istighfar, and you'll notice that not only your life actually starts changing, but like the lives of everybody else around you too.